Hi guys, it's nice to be back on the channel. It's been a while. Did you miss me?
Today we are going to be answering your dilemmas. Friendship, relationship. I think it's mostly relationship from what I've looked. I asked you guys on Instagram. As always, they are anonymous. Okay.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, this one's a bit wild. Okay. It says, my boyfriend's family is so involved to the point I think his auntie fancies him. I don't know what to do with that.
I just think, does he see it?
That's what I was going to say, because I feel like if he feels that, it's a different story.
Yeah.
But also, like, if it's just you, I feel like maybe there's a conversation to be had.
For sure. I mean, I think that's the start of anything. Definitely, we're going to say that for every thing.
I feel like boundaries are really important.
100%. And also, I think it is also good to consider that people's relationships with their families are all so different.
Yeah, they look different.
They look so, like, even my family to your family, we have a very similar family setup, yet relationships are so different.
Yeah.
And like you guys, you might be super close with your cousins. I see my cousins, or apart from one of them who I'm really close with, the rest of them once every 6 years. Like,
yeah, I can't remember the last time I saw my cousins.
Yeah, but some people see their cousins like siblings.
Yeah,
but
that's important. Yeah, it's a bit weird. And I think I've definitely heard things like that kind of similar before, in terms of like people are super close and like they don't really understand it. And I think it's fine to not understand, and it's fine for things to look.
It's bothering.
No.
Oh, she put it, it's funny.
But I think it's like a funny like
awkward. Yeah.
Like,
I think I would just consider like how it's impacting the relationship, and if it's impacting it negatively, then definitely have a conversation.
100%. I've been with my boyfriend for 1.5 years and he's ghosted me on 3 different occasions. What do I do?
Leave.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other, like, there's not even like, let's have a conversation. I feel like that's
He's just doing something behind your back that
yeah.
he shouldn't be doing. I mean, heavily assuming it's gone wrong, or he was unwell or something. You should be, you know what my whole thing is with relationships, and I feel this in friendship as well. If you can't do it with them stood right next to you, you shouldn't be doing it.
Fact.
And I've always said this, like, if you have a weird thing in your relationship where like your partner's on their phone and they're tilting it, if they can't do that with you, looking over their shoulder, they simply shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah,
obviously there's times of like, they're good looking engagement rings or something like that, they're looking to surprise you, fine. But
the way you behave with other people.
Yeah, that's my stance on it.
I agree, completely agree. But I think if someone's ghosting you, especially on multiple occasions, they don't respect you.
I agree.
And I think if there's a lack of respect, there you can't really move forward. A lack of communication, because that's literally what ghosting is.
Yeah, and that's painful. And I'm so sorry that they're doing that to you, because that's hurtful.
Yeah, really hurtful.
You deserve better.
100%.
Gosh, these are heavy.
Yeah. This one's a toughie. Having doubts in my relationship, I love my boyfriend, but I still get urges on nights out, and I don't know.
I think that's so layered. From my experience, and everyone's different. This comes back to the whole, by the way, I seem to be speaking lots in this video.
I speak a lot
for the whole
I speak lots in the other video, but I feel like when you ask the question,
it's almost like you're asking. Yeah.
So I think that's just how it is.
I think with this one, I struggle with that, because I definitely have friends who, in relationships, are able to fancy other people, but I'm not like that.
I'm not like
it's
that.
very black and white for me. If I am in a relationship, I'm so tunnel visioned.
Yeah, same.
I don't know why. I just am.
I think some people are just set up differently.
Yeah, but then I definitely have friends who can, like, who've been walking down the street and be like, "Oh, he was so hot," and like, I'm like, didn't even see.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes, like, give yourself a bit of grace. Like, maybe you just, that's how you're built.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to go and do anything,
I think it's okay to appreciate someone's good looking, or I feel like when it gets to the point where like
you have to stop yourself doing something.
I don't even necessarily think that would directly reflect on how your relationship is. It might just like you might just need to look internally.
Yeah, that's so true. Maybe you're lacking attention from elsewhere in your world. I'm not saying like attention's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. Yeah, that's so true. It's not necessarily linked to your partner.
Yeah. So I think maybe I'm a huge therapy advocate. I know it's not like completely accessible for everyone. There's a lot of resources and stuff that you can find for therapy if it's something that you want to go into. Being able to kind of like delve deeper into why you're feeling that way.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a good place to start.
Yeah. I also think maybe it's a conversation to have with your partner.
Yeah,
have that kind of open communication.
First.
But yeah, I think kind of opening that up and introducing that insecurity in your relationship might not be a good thing if you're not really completely sure yourself.
But I think it's a huge thing that you've even noticed it.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, is it
before you've acted?
Before you've acted.
Yeah, definitely. My partner still talks to their ex regularly, and while they assure me it's purely platonic, I can't help but feel uneasy about it. Is this a red flag, or am I overreacting? How should I communicate my concerns without seeming insecure or controlling?
This is so tricky, because I'm so nonchalant about things. I'm like, if you want to be friends with your ex, be friends with your ex. But I'm not. Don't think it leads to good things for you and your partner.
Yeah.
So whilst I would never say to my partner, you can't talk to your ex, I would hope my partner would appreciate that having a close relationship and talking to their ex frequently doesn't help our relationship.
Yeah, and I think also just like we kind of touched on it similarly in your video about kind of having that you have people in your life for different reasons.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay to close chapters.
Yeah,
And your ex is an ex for a reason, and it's okay to close that chapter and go, you know what, we could actually, when things aren't horrible between us, but like it's not for me. And that relationship was also intimate. You had a really intimate relationship in a lot of different ways with an ex when you're with someone. To then,
I mean, it clearly bothers this person.
yeah.
So that's what this stems from. If it bothers you, your partner should prioritize you.
Yeah.
And make you feel comfortable. Like, I'm trying to think about it in terms of how I would feel, because how else can we judge?
I also don't think it, like they put, how should I communicate my concerns without seeming insecure? I don't think there's anything wrong with being insecure. And I think to be vulnerable to your partner and say, look, I'm actually feeling really insecure about this. And I think if you're met with,
you should be met with, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and I think you communicating that and being like, okay, I am actually feeling insecure. It's not necessarily something, it's not something you've done wrong, but like you communicating with your ex is making me insecure. If that's not met with, okay, well, I choose you and you're my priority, then I think that's the problem.
Yes.
How you're met with that conversation and how you pose it is kind of how that situation will
I'm
go.
trying to think I've ever been in a scenario where I've had to ask someone to not talk. I don't think I ever have. I definitely think, it comes down to what makes you comfortable. And there's no right or wrong, by the way.
No.
It's not right that I don't feel insecure about that. It's not wrong that I don't, whatever. But what the right or wrong in this is the reaction when you communicate.
And also, I think there's a whole thing about like I don't want to seem controlled, or I don't want to seem this, or I don't want to seem that. Make sure what you're feeling insecure about is not a reflection of your past experience.
So true.
If it is, it's okay. Just recognize that it is, and just say to your partner, like, because of my past experience, like I'm feeling this way about the situation, and then I think the way they respond is obviously going to be telling.
100%.
Okay, I'm in a happy relationship, but my partner's best friend has been flirting with me quite openly. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't want to cause unnecessary drama, but I also feel like I should tell my partner. Should I bring this up with my partner or try and handle it myself? What if my partner doesn't believe me?
Until you got to the last sentence or the last bit, I was like, well, obviously tell your partner. Why wouldn't your partner believe you?
Yeah, that's weird.
That's really odd. If your partner's making out that you lie about things or wouldn't believe, then, oh my goodness, that's the problem.
Yeah, that's definitely the red flag. But I agree with you. Up until that, it's kind of like,
obviously.
Have a chat with them.
Yeah. If you're afraid of your partner not believing what comes out of your mouth, run a mile.
Oh yeah, 100%. Especially if it's something like that's making you feel uncomfortable. You coming to your partner and saying, this is the scenario that's happened. It's making me feel uneasy and I don't really like it. If you're fearful that your partner won't believe you, you're right, just run fast. My best friend started dating my ex without telling me. I only found out through social media and I felt completely blindsided. I'm not sure how to handle this or if our friendship can survive this. How should I approach my friend in this situation?
Well, did they think you were not going to find out? I don't understand.
That's why I don't think that's your best friend.
No, I agree. And look, I do, playing devil's advocate, I do agree that sometimes you fall in love with people and it happens in the most unconventional ways and you don't know how to deal with it. And maybe you make bad decisions, right? Or decisions that hurt people.
Yeah, I agree.
Fine. But I think if that person valued you, they should have come and had the conversation with you face to face.
Yeah, I feel like the problem in this is not necessarily that you're dating the ex. That's an issue in itself, right?
They're different.
To be talked about.
Yeah. Which, by the way, not cool.
Yeah, not cool.
Look how many people there are on the planet.
There's a lot of people.
We'll go and find you another one.
Yeah. The main problem, I think, for me would be finding out through social media and not being spoken to.
That's so disrespectful.
Because I feel like, that would hurt me.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no positive outcomes there.
Yeah, instead of coming to me and speaking to me and saying, look, I know this is weird for you. I don't know how it's happened. I don't know why it's happened, but we fall in love, whatever the situation is. Yeah, social media, finding out things on social media, I think is...
It's also just super immature.
Yeah, it's just really hurtful and I don't rate it. I don't rate the behaviour.
I think I would probably walk away from that situation if I had the capacity to. If I had other friends, I think I would probably just try and pivot.
Yeah, so would I.
Just to save the drama.
Yeah, I don't know how I would trust the friend after that. Because, no, it's a no from me. it's a no from me. My partner and my best friend don't get along, and it's putting me in a tough spot. I feel like I'm constantly having to choose between them. Do I force them to spend time together, or is it better to keep it separate?
You know what's super interesting you saying that? It made me think of one of my exes. One of his best friends was getting married, and his best friend made all of his close friends, guy friends, take his wife to be on a date and have one-on-one time, because he was like, I'm marrying this girl, I love this girl, you obviously don't love this girl because I love her, like, you know, we're all different people, but I really want you to connect with her on some level and know her before the wedding. So this is like months before, and they were all friends, but it wasn't like they hung out all the time. So each one of them,
sweet,
isn't that lovely? Took them on a date,
really like that,
which was really lovely. I think initially with this, I would think, do they actually not like each other, or do they just not know each other?
Yeah, that's true.
I think I would probably meet it in that way, because in my head I'm like, maybe that's the best outcome if that's what
and
it
also,
actually
like,
is.
That's your best friend and that's your partner, so they definitely have something in common.
Completely.
Because you're best friends with that person for a reason.
Yeah.
And you're with this person for a reason. So there's obviously the common ground, even if it's just you.
Yeah.
And you're the only common ground that they have. I feel like,
and if they both love you,
they should make the effort.
They should make the effort.
Yeah.
So I was sitting on a date.
I think that's a good idea, you know? I feel like that is.
And my ex used to talk about it like one of the most positive things they ever did.
I think it's a great idea.
I think it's so cool.
Probably copy that.
I was going to say I might copy that.
Okay.
I'm going to take Dan to play paddle.
Oh my god, you
should
love
take
that.
me. Is he got to take me, or have I got to take him?
I think it doesn't matter.
I'm taking to play paddle.
You can take him to play paddle. This one's tricky. I think I know how I'd handle this, but I'd like to see.
Shoot.
Okay. My friend keeps borrowing money from me and never pays it back, despite promising to do so. It's starting to strain our friendship.
Never pays it back.
But I'm worried about bringing it up and causing tension. How do I do this, but still be kind?
May I?
Yeah.
Say it after me. I will never lend anybody money ever.
I think the thing is, okay, so
it ruins relationships. It full stop. Yes, it's so hard to watch people you love go through hard times, but if you can't guarantee, I think it's different if they can't afford to pay it back. That's different.
I was going to say, I think there's complexities within the situation.
100%.
And I've
but
seen
if someone
friends,
takes advantage, then
and I think one, they keep borrowing money and not paying it back.
Yeah.
I think there's a level of, okay, well, when they ask next, I'm sorry that you're in a situation where you need money, but I have lent you X amount and you haven't paid me back. It also depends what financial situation you're in.
I was going to say, I think it's odd for your friend to assume you can just keep lending them money without repercussions.
Yeah, because obviously, like, there's a cost of living crisis.
But not even that, for the majority of people, that's just not.
People don't have a lot of disposable income. And so to assume that you have
floating money
is tricky. But I think also there's a difference, right? So if it was me in this scenario and I was in a position to give people money, I think depending on what position my friend's in, I don't mind giving you money if it's going to help you. You don't have to pay it back. It's fine. Like, don't tell me you're going to pay it back if you are going to really struggle to do that. I'm in a position to help you and I don't mind giving you the money.
This is the difference. I would be exactly the same. If one of my friends or my family members was in a scenario where they needed money, or maybe they needed something done on their house but they couldn't afford it, but it meant that, like, say if they needed like a bathroom floor and they couldn't bath their kids because they couldn't kneel on the floor. I'm going to buy you a bathroom floor. You don't need to pay me back. I would much rather do that than them say, hey, can I borrow £1,000 so I can do the bathroom floor? No.
And then you have to pay me back, and that's stressful for you.
And it strains the relationship. I would much rather just say, look, I can do this for you. I love you, I care about you.
And I want to.
Yeah.
I think that's different.
I think lending people money puts a very strange strain on the relationship and changes the dynamic, which is why, for me, if you can avoid it at any cost, I think you should.
It's so tricky because I know that, like, a lot of people don't have, football just flew into every garden. Depending on the situation that they're in, they're obviously in a sticky spot where they're asking for money.
Well, you would hope it's genuine.
That's kind of where I'm coming from. It's like, if they keep asking for money and they're not paying it back.
I would worry about the person who has been lending the money. I fear for them that they're being taken advantage of.
Yeah, I think the thing is, borrowing money from a friend is not an issue. You pay it back, or at least if you keep them updated. So, like, I don't know, I ask you to borrow £100, right? And I say, oh, I can't pay for X this month. Can I have £100 and I'll pay you back next month? Next month rolls around, don't pay you back. The problem lies when you don't communicate.
Yes.
By the way, I'm not in a position to pay you back. Is that okay? If I can try and do something to figure it out, if it's not okay, I can give you £10 now.
I think I meet this with such skepticism because I've been bitten in the past. lost.
Yes.
And I think that's understandable.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it also, like you said, changes dynamic. But I do think as long as you're openly communicating about, one, what you can afford, two, why are they not telling you, why I can't pay it back, and also now why I'm asking for more money.
Yeah.
Like, I understand if someone's in a better position and your friend can help you, then why would they not help you? Why don't I just I'll go out and I'll do your grocery shop for you?
Yeah.
Like,
see, that would be my
do you know what I mean?
answer.
Like,
Yeah,
you
what
can't
can I
afford
do
things.
otherwise to help?
Yeah, because I think
Yeah.
that puts you in a better position to
Also,
manage other
it
things.
adds, what you want to do for your relationships and your friendships is add layered positivity and add layered good things, not add layers of stress and bad things.
Because I think if you can't afford X because of whatever's going on, and you're asking for £100 or £200 or whatever it is, and you can't afford to do the grocery, let me do the shop then. Because at that point as well, your friend's stressed because they don't have money and they can't do the food shop. Let me do the shop for you then. You don't have to deal with money. I don't have to borrow anything from you. You don't have to borrow anything.
There's no weird.
I'm just helping you.
Yeah,
cool.
Because I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it becomes weird when you then have to deal with like payment plans and like it just gets a bit techie. So yeah. I've caught my friend lying to me lots of times and it's hurting my trust. I want to ask them about it, but I don't want to create drama. How do I have this conversation with them and be honest, but I don't want them to kick off?
I think you firstly have to decide how much it bothers you, and it clearly does.
Yeah.
And then I think you just have to sit down and talk about it. It's going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I worry about the fact that you're worried that they're going to kick off because
that's not healthy.
It's not healthy, and it's also like you're the one that's being lied to, not them. So then being worried that they're going to kick off.
It makes me think: are you going to say something and they're going to turn around and make it your fault that you're upset that they're lying? Which in itself is just so unhealthy.
Yeah, I also just.
But we've all been there, as in the person who's been lied to.
Yeah,
I don't tend to turn around and tell my friends they're the problem.
Yeah. No, I think that's the thing. Like, if you feel like that and you feel like that's going to happen, it's very much like a.
Maybe you should be questioning the friendship anyway.
Yeah, because that's one thing to be like, okay, I have a problem, but then to not be able to raise the issue for fear of it being switched back around.
Yeah.
That's not healthy.
No.
So I think there's a conversation to be had. The conversation is not met with, I'm really sorry. Actually, this is the reason I've lied to you. It's not excusable, but hopefully you could understand. Or maybe it's just completely out of order. I feel like maybe it's just maybe step back.
I think you need to decide what you would like out of it.
Yeah.
If you want the friendship to continue, go through the whole conversation. If maybe the friendship's not that healthy and it's not really serving you, is it worth the aggravation?
That's true. Maybe it's just time to step back anyway. And actually maybe the conversation's just going to be stressful and actually, like you said, it's going to aggravate the situation even more.
Yeah.
I think that's
solid advice.
My friend brings up relationship problems in group settings, which makes everyone uncomfortable. How can I tell them to keep it private without hurting their feelings or being awkward?
Well, firstly, I would say I think that's a testament to your friendship that they feel comfortable in your space. Bringing that up. I wonder what they're talking about that makes it inappropriate. Yeah.
I feel like things like this, where someone's doing something that makes it uncomfortable or makes it awkward, or I don't really know how to handle this, is the outcome you want for them just to stop doing it.
Yeah, what is the outcome?
Because if the outcome is that you just want them to stop doing it, then I think it's easy just to be like, okay, cool. And I say easy as in like the solution's straightforward, not the execution of the solution. Is like, I just need to have the conversation. Sometimes the conversation's like, oh, how do I do this? Sometimes it's just like, bite the bullet and go for it. Don't overthink it too much and just say...
Some people really find it hard to read the room.
Sometimes you just have to have awkward conversations.
True.
Yeah. And they suck.
And like, you don't actually know how they're going to take it. Maybe you're going to say it and they're going to be like, oh, like, fair.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I had no idea.
So
sorry, it didn't even click. Like, you're right, I'm being a moaning Minnie.
Yeah, and also just like, didn't know that would make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, some people are really open and really public with kind of anything.
Yeah.
And other people do just prefer to be more quiet. So I think it's also then just understanding
where everyone sits, actually.
And also being honest will make them understand you more.
I do think, though, it's not fair to alienate someone and all be having a conversation that someone's making everyone feel uncomfortable and like a 1v multiple people scenario.
Yeah.
I think maybe you can't let that continue. I think having the conversation sooner rather than later so they don't feel like everyone's been talking about them is really important.
I agree.
Because that would break my heart.
Yeah, same. My boyfriend's family doesn't like me and it's making me upset. I've tried to get along with them, but nothing seems to work. What should I do to improve this? Or how do I tell my boyfriend about it? Yeah, I don't know if it's an age thing or a personality thing, or I'm very aware that both of us have grown up similarly, but then also moved away from our family homes high school circles, and so when everything's intertwined and everyone kind of lives in
each other's pockets.
that's also different.
That's so
and there's
true.
a lot. There's more politics.
Yeah.
Right. Like we don't deal with a lot of politics in our lives because we
ran away
from the politics.
Great.
Which honestly would recommend.
Yeah, would recommend.
Like I miss my family like crazy, and I wish my family lived down here.
Oh, me too.
But
if I could move my parents down the street, heck yeah.
100%. But I think when there's extended family or like, you know, the more people that are involved, the more complex.
The more drama, yeah.
It's also quite upsetting that people feel like they can't speak to their partners.
I agree. That's kind of what they're there for.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, what would you do?
In that scenario, I would talk to my partner and I would say, hey, this is how I feel. Am I right? You know, maybe they're just cold people. Maybe they're not. You know, some families just don't socialise with people outside the families and it's really uncomfortable and alien.
Yeah.
You know, am I taking this a bit more personally than I should be? And if their answer is no, they're actually being not very nice to you, I would then probably say, well, is this something we can fix? And if so, how?
Yeah. And also, there's something in that about them sticking up for you also. Because whilst that's their family, if you see yourself with this person and he sees himself with you long term, he should be your biggest advocate and someone who really like puts his neck on the line for you essentially.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that he should like isolate himself from his family, but
he should have the conversation.
If you haven't had done anything wrong, also then delve into why they don't like you if that is the case.
Yeah.
From your perspective, you're making an effort, but
everyone's different.
Yeah, people like to be loved in different ways.
100%.
So, like for me, making an effort with I have two sisters, an older sister, and a younger sister, but making an effort with both of those sisters looks different.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes you have to meet people on their level. Not all the time, because obviously like give and take.
Even as like an example, maybe you think popping round once a week, twice a week, and like just popping in and being there is you making an effort. But maybe for them, that feels like an invasion of their space.
Yeah.
You just don't know how things are being met.
Yeah, I think it's like there's definitely sounds like there's a communication breakdown somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to address it is just to open up that communication.
And I really don't think it's as straightforward as they just don't like you.
Yeah, I don't think anything's that straightforward.
No.
So there's definitely there's a reason, or genuinely, and this, I'm not trying to gaslight you, it could genuinely be in your head, because I think sometimes we big things up in our head and we're like, oh my god, they don't like me.
But overall, 95% sure it's fixable.
Yeah. I think there's a conversation to be had with your partner.
Yeah.
And then there's also a conversation like, if your partner's like, you're being ridiculous, it's then reaching out to the family and being like, would you like to do something on this day?
Yeah.
If you do, like, what would you like to do? What are some of the things that you enjoy doing? Notice the hobbies that they have and try and get involved in them. People like when you get involved in the things that they enjoy.
Yeah, they're passionate about.
Yeah. So I think there's some give and take.
To start.
Yeah. My boyfriend wants to move in together, but I'm not ready yet. I'm worried about telling him how I feel without upsetting him and making him feel rejected. How do I communicate my hesitation and still show my commitment to the relationship?
I would say this is, firstly, you obviously care about them so much.
Yeah.
This is so important. I think I would probably, if this was me, take a step out and try and put myself in the partner's shoes and see how I would like that to be delivered. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Look at the recipient of the conversation.
Yeah, and if they were saying that to me and they were saying they're not ready, how would I take that and what could be said to make me feel reassured and secure?
Yeah.
Because by the sounds of things, you're simply not ready. It's not that you don't love them, it's not that you don't care, not that you don't want it. But also, do you think in a relationship it is really important to be able to speak freely
I
and
completely agree.
like without repercussions? So I think you just need to open the conversation, but I think a huge key thing here is just reassurance.
And also from what you kind of touched on earlier about knowing
what you want out of the conversation before you go into it.
How do you know what I was going to say? What the heck? Yes,
that's what a key thing for me.
That's what I was going to say. Is like, know that when you go into the conversation, what you want out of it, but also be okay if that doesn't happen, because it's actually really important to be aligned on what you're both ready for, and it can break down a relationship if that's not the case. Yeah. And I think it's okay to love someone.
That changes.
Yeah, and I think you can love someone and then not be the right person, and if they're ready to move in together and they want to move more quickly, and that's not something you're ready for, it's okay to not be your person.
Yeah.
Equally, I do think that sometimes you think that you're not ready for something and you are,
because
it's scary.
Yeah.
So I think there's an element of, okay, you might think that you're not ready, but actually you might not think you're ever ready, but you are. And it's just scary, and change is scary.
About that.
So
I think about this a lot, about like living with a guy again at some point. I love my alone time, I love my routine. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like how am I going to deal with this? How am I going to do this? Because I'm so self-sufficient and I have been for so long that is That's a lot. Like, do you eat dinner together every day? Do you eat breakfast together? Like,
Unless I'm out. This morning, I sat down and had a coffee with him before I left. The thing is, because Dan and I are both self-employed,
yeah, it's different.
and we're together like genuinely 24/7. He is my best friend in the entire world, and there's nothing more that I love than just doing I love doing mundane things with the people I love. Like, that's my favourite thing.
Grocery shopping.
It's just
I agree.
like going for a drive. Like,
see, I would enjoy that. I would enjoy grocery shopping with a partner. But I think for me, the idea of sharing my like calm and quiet alone time is really daunting.
I think it's daunting, but
also, we're not made to be alone.
We're
not
that's
wired like
what I was about to say. I feel like you have.
I've rewired myself.
Yes, you've been good at being self-sufficient and hyper-independent.
Because I had no choice.
Because you've had no choice.
Yeah.
And I feel like that in itself is a survival mechanism.
Yeah.
You've done it well. You're great at it, but it's not necessary. Like, you don't have to be this like super independent. You don't have to be that. You can be that if you want to be that, and if that's your path, then that's cool. But it's also okay not to do that.
Yeah, that's so true.
And like, for me, I know that I'm capable of doing everything myself. Do I want to? No.
Oh yeah, no, I'm very.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, I would love someone to come put my bins out for me. Like, that would be great. But my morning routine.
I haven't done the bins in like 4 years.
Have you not?
Don't do the bins.
I put my bins out.
That's actually like when Dan tore his Achilles and couldn't walk, I took the bins out.
What else haven't you done?
I don't really do the dishwasher. I haven't.
When's the last time you changed the light bulb?
I don't think I've ever changed a light bulb. I don't think I've ever made something that's like any furniture that's in our apartment, haven't made it. Like, and the thing is, I'm very much of the opinion of like,
and it's free.
It's free. It's free. I'm very much of the opinion of if you want to be independent, don't need no man.
I don't.
That's cool. Like, that's fine. That's your path. Right? I love being looked after. The funniest thing is, this is like such a stray from the question, by the way, but this is now just like a little chat.
Yeah.
I love being looked after. It's funny, Dan and I talk about it all the time, like love languages and stuff.
Yeah.
I have all of them.
I said this the other week.
I have all of them.
I think my love languages, they've changed as I've aged.
Yeah, they definitely have.
Is words of affirmation, which was never a love language for me.
No.
Definitely words of affirmation. Physical touch.
That's
so new.
But
I think more than anything now, like I crave that.
It, yeah.
And it's not something I ever craved.
Yeah.
And it definitely makes me feel like valued.
Yeah.
And loved.
Yeah. I think that's also like really natural, like a natural human instinct.
Yeah.
To want to be close.
And I do think acts of service, but I don't necessarily actually no.
I think
could give or take acts of service. Like, someone opens my car door for me, but like, could I give or take it? Yes, but it's something my dad's always done for me growing up. So for me, I see that as a real sign of someone caring for me.
Yeah. I think things like that as well for me. Like, I say all of them because I think all of them are important, right?
Gifts don't do anything for me.
Gifts do stuff for me, but in a different way. Like, it has to, like, if Dan went out and bought me a handbag, I don't care.
But if he bought you favourite food or something.
But if he went to the corner shop and found me a new drink that I've not tried before,
see, that wouldn't do anything for me.
Like that. I love that.
It just wouldn't do anything.
And it's just from a point of view of like, it's the thought behind things. Like, you know, when people get you gifts and it's like, you really got that for me because you actually thought.
Yeah.
For example, for my birthday, my friend Els, I've been I can't explain to you, banging on about the fact that I don't have a pair of jeans that fit me.
Okay.
And I've never found a pair of jeans that fit me, right? And she got me a voucher for Levi, and she was like, we'll go in together, we'll go and get a pair of jeans, and you can get them tailored.
Oh.
And I was just like, it's just thoughtful.
Yeah, that's
and thoughtful. For me, I think like things like that, like even like last year, for example, my birthday, like I'd been talking about like I wanted to stream and I wanted to game more, and I had a PS4, and which is obviously like you can deal with a PS4, like lucky to even have that. It was more the fact that like Dan went out of his way to research like what PC that would be good for streaming, and like just things like that. Or like I even like I said to you yesterday, like I was on my period and I'd been out and I'd come back from an event and Dan had made me a hot water bottle, put it in bed, put painkillers by my bedside and made me a cup of tea. Yes. So that's what I mean, like I would say
for me the gifts thing. I think because I associate stuff with weight I struggle with the gift thing. I associate gifts, and this definitely comes from trauma in previous relationships. I associate gifts with there's
not something personal to you.
There's something attached to it.
Yeah.
Like, here's a
There's an
KitchenAid, but I'm gonna go film you open it. And
it's just an expectation.
Yeah.
It's an exchange rather than a...
It's an exchange. I feel like it's an exchange. I feel like I have to give something back.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me feel
I
uncomfortable.
care about you, and therefore this is something... That's why I'm like, it's not big, extravagant gifts to me.
No.
It's like, I went to the corner shop, I was going to get myself a drink, and actually I saw this and I thought you might like it.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter if you spent 10p on it.
Yeah.
Like, if it's free, I don't care.
See, in that position, I'd be like, what reaction do you want from me? Like, I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I need to get over that.
Yeah,
I
that's
need
the
to talk
trauma
to
thing.
my therapist about that.
Yeah, because I think it's...
And I definitely, like, there's a scenario, like, even like that I can think about off the top of my head, where someone bought me a gift that was like, we'd been somewhere and I pointed something out, and they'd gone and got it for me and got it and given it to me. It was really nice.
Yeah.
And the feeling I had was, I was so grateful and so shocked, but like,
There's a good level of uncomfortability.
Yeah, but not because of them.
Because of the past.
Because of the past.
Yeah.
But obviously you can't bring that into, like, you know,
New
into your
situations.
present. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just gotta get over that.
Yeah, I think I've actually forgotten what the actual question is and how to round it up. Not ready to move in. I think it's a conversation, also being okay with the fact that you're at different points in your life, if that's not going to match up, or actually like giving them some sort of expectation, like managing their expectations. I'm not ready right now. If you don't want to move forward, that's fine. Also respecting that that's what they're ready for in their life. Like, just because you're not ready doesn't mean that they are at fault because they want you to be.
Yeah. 100%.
But also maybe recognising that actually you are ready and maybe you're just scared.
Yeah. Also write it down. Write down how you're feeling. So helpful.
Good
Sounds
tip.
ridiculous. So helpful.
Yeah, really helpful.
And also then you don't get anybody else's opinion.
Yeah, that's true. Or also just like voice it. Like this is going to sound ridiculous. Sometimes when I say my feelings out loud, I don't actually resonate with them as much as I did in my head. Like sometimes when I talk to Dan about stuff that I thought that I was feeling or I thought was super obvious, I'll then be like,
Oh my God, I don't feel like that.
yeah, actually now I've said it out loud, that really does sound silly.
Yeah.
So,
and I also think sitting with things personally for a little bit before you voice them is really powerful.
Yeah. I do that less now because I feel like anything that comes into my head, I'm in a safe space to tell Dan. So I just talk constantly.
The amount of times I think I'm worried about something, I go for a walk or I go to bed, I wake up the next day and I'm like, oh, I can deal with that. It's literally fine.
Yeah.
Or I wake up the next day and then like I come on my period and I'm like, oh, like my emotions
Makes
are just
sense.
super high and makes sense. I can work through this. So yeah, I think being aware of like where you're at.
Dan's also got my like period tracker.
Oh,
so
helpful.
It's so, because the week before my period I'm insane.
The night I come on my period, the day I come on my period, I break up with someone every time.
Sometimes
not now, but when I was younger, I wasn't aware of my cycle.
Well, I think sometimes I'm still like, my emotions are crazy, and Dan will be like, is it not the week before your period? And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Now I feel better.
Yeah.
So I think
so validating, isn't it?
And also just to have your partner be aware of
it
what's
takes me
going
from
on.
Being up here down to here immediately. I'm like, oh,
it also,
the reason.
It's ridiculously, you're completely right. It's validation. Like, and it's just like, oh, okay. Like, I might be feeling this, and actually, it could be super overwhelming, but actually, I'm fine.
Is this Aura, or is this the other one?
It's Aura.
Do you have to pay for the subscription?
I pay for a natural cycle subscription.
Ah.
So you buy the ring, and then I think Aura does have a subscription, maybe, but it's like for me
to answer a lot of your questions, basically.
I've had it now for like 2 and a bit years. Yeah. It's the best thing I probably will do a whole video on it. It's the best thing I've done.
You should do.
No hormonal contraception and being able to track my period cycle, and also, by the way, 2.5 years of like TMI.
Sorry, unprotected sex.
Mum, Dad, if you're watching, skip this 20 seconds. But yeah. And not being pregnant, just being so like aware of my cycle, where I'm at, what's going on, and being able to know all of that, I just feel like it's genuinely changed my life.
I'm so I'm so close to it.
It's the best thing I've ever done. It tells you exactly the day that you ovulate. Like,
you can tell for your temperature, can't it?
It's just ridiculous.
But what's crazy about me and my cycle? Sorry, this is on such a tangent, but welcome to our lives.
Yeah.
I know my what day I'm ovulating. I know what day I'm going to come on my period.
Same.
I know which fallopian tube, the egg's coming down.
Yeah.
Like, I think as you age, and if you're aware of it, it is something that you really do understand and learn.
Coming off of hormonal contraception also has made me so much more aware of that, because I feel like I've been on a crazy journey with hormonal contraception in general.
Oh, yeah, same. 9 pills.
Yeah.
No, not
going back to trying pills also.
The injection, the coil.
Implant.
I never did that.
Had a whole phantom pregnancy from the implant, which I didn't even know was a thing or existed. Like, it was wild. Long story short,
Track the cycle.
track your cycle, because
And the more
jeez.
history data you have, the more accurate it is. So
I'd love to do more videos on
periods
and hormonal
You know what I think we should do a video on?
etc.
It's things people never tell you as a teenager that you should know.
And on that note,
I don't even know if the camera caught what I just said.
but if it did, you're
It's a
welcome.
lucky day.
But yeah, if you'd like to see more videos of us just sitting, chatting,
Girls stuff.
nonsense, girl
The
stuff.
girls' room.
Oh my god, iconic. Then that's nice.
Thanks
In the
for having me.
comments. Thanks for being here. If you guys have enjoyed it, then please let us know down in the comments. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you've made it this far, then comment down below
What you want to see next?
yes. I always give people a word at the end of the video if they've made it to the end.
Powerpuff Girl.
Powerpuff Girl. Comment down below, Powerpuff Girl, if you've made it this far. We appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't already viewed the video, then make sure you go and head over to Emily's channel, because we filmed one all about friendship dilemmas, which was juicy also. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!